Most people do not reach their full potential. Most people are not successful. Research shows that 80% of individuals will never be financially free in the way they'd like to be, and that 80% will never claim to be truly happy. The reason is simple. Most people are unconscious. They are a little asleep at the wheel. They work and think on a superficial level of life, based only on what they can see. They live strictly in the visible world. What you cannot see in this world is far more powerful than anything you can see. You may or may not agree with this statement, but to the extent that you do not apply this principle in your life, you must be suffering. Why? Because you're going against the laws of nature, whereby what is under the ground creates what is above the ground, where what is invisible creates what is visible. We live in a world of cause and effect, of cause and result. Have you ever heard someone assert that a lack of money was a bit of a problem? Now hear this. A lack of money is never, ever, ever a problem. A lack of money is merely a symptom of what's going on underneath. Things aren't going well in your outer life, it's because they aren't going well in your inner life. What you hear, you forget. What you see, you remember. What you do, you understand. Why are declarations such a valuable tool? Because everything is made up of one thing, energy. All energy travels in frequencies and vibrations. Therefore, each declaration you make carries its own vibrational frequency. When you state a declaration aloud, its energy vibrates throughout the cells of your body, and by touching your body at the same time, you can feel its unique resonance. Declarations not only send a specific message to the universe, they also send a powerful message to your subconscious mind. I invite you to place your hand on your heart and repeat the following. My inner world creates my outer world. Now touch your head and say, I have a millionaire mind. It's called the process of manifestation, and it goes like this. Thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to actions, and actions lead to results. Where do your thoughts come from? Your thoughts originate from the files of information you have in the storage cabinets of your mind. So where does this information come from? It comes from your past programming. That's right. Your past conditioning determines every thought that bubbles up in your mind. Your programming leads to your thoughts lead to your feelings lead to your actions, and your actions lead to your results. Therefore, just as is done with a personal computer, by changing your programming, you take the first essential step to changing your results. An example of the power of verbal conditioning came at the expense of one of our Millionaire Mind seminar participants. Stephen didn't have a problem earning money. His challenge was keeping it. At the time Stephen came to the course, he was earning over $800,000 a year and had been doing so for the past 9 years. Yet, he was still barely scraping by. Somehow, he managed to spend his money, lend it, or lose it all by making poor investment decisions. Whatever the reason, his net worth was exactly zero. Stephen shared with us that when he was growing up, his mom always used to say, "Rich people are greedy. They make their money off the sweat of the poor. You should have just enough to get by. After that, you're a pig." It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what was going on inside Stephen's subconscious mind. No wonder he was broke. He was verbally conditioned by his mother to believe that rich people are greedy. Therefore, his mind linked up rich with greedy, which of course is bad. When the subconscious mind must choose between deeply rooted emotions and logic, emotions will almost always win. There are 4 key elements of change, each of which is essential in reprogramming your financial blueprint. They are simple but profoundly powerful. The first key is awareness. Write down all the statements you heard about money, wealth, and rich people when you were young. The second is understanding. Write down how you believe these statements have affected your financial life so far. The third is disassociation. Can you see that these thoughts represent only what you learned and are not part of your anatomy and not who you are? Can you see that you have a choice in the present moment to be different? And the fourth key is reconditioning, and we'll begin to do that with a declaration. Place your hand over your heart and say, "What I heard about money isn't necessarily true. I choose to adopt new ways of thinking that support my happiness and success." touch your head now and say, I have a millionaire mind. Statistics show that the number one cause of all relationship breakups is money. The biggest reason behind the fights people have about money is not the money itself, but the mismatch of their blueprints. It doesn't matter how much money you have or don't have. If your blueprint doesn't match that of the person you're dealing with, you'll have a major challenge. Here's an exercise you can do with your partner. Sit down and discuss the history each of you brings to your thoughts about money. What you have heard when you were young, what was modeled in your family, and any emotional incidents that occurred. Also, find out what money really means to your partner. Is it pleasure, or freedom, or security, or status? This will assist you in identifying each other's current money blueprint and may help you discover why you might be disagreeing in this arena. Your income can only grow to the extent that you do. Fortunately or unfortunately, your personal money and success blueprint will tend to stay with you for the rest of your life unless you identify it and change it. No thought lives in your head rent-free. Each thought you have will either be an investment or a cost. It will either move you towards happiness and success or away from it. That's why it's imperative you choose your thoughts and beliefs wisely. Realize that your thoughts and beliefs aren't who you are, and they are not necessarily attached to you. As precious as you believe them to be, they have no more importance and meaning than you give them. Nothing has meaning except for the meaning you give it. If I fail to persuade you and you still somehow believe that money's not important, then I only have two words for you. You're broke, and you always will be until you eradicate that non-supportive file from your financial blueprint. Complaining is the absolute worst possible thing you could do for your health or your wealth. The worst. Why? I'm a big believer in the universal law that states, what you focus on expands. When you are complaining, what are you focusing on? What's right with your life or what's wrong with it? Well, you're obviously focusing on what's wrong with it. And since what you focus on expands, you'll keep getting more of what's wrong. When you are complaining, what are you focusing on? What's right with your life or what's wrong with it? Well, you're obviously focusing on what's wrong with it. And since what you focus on expands, you'll keep getting more of what's wrong. Many teachers in the personal development field talk about the law of attraction. It states that like attracts like, meaning that when you are complaining, you are actually attracting crap into your life. This may be painful, but if you're ready to move to the next level of success, you're going to have to become conscious of what's really going on in your life. Are you ready? Here goes. If you have a big problem in your life, all that means is that you are being a small person. Don't be fooled by appearances. Your outer world is merely a reflection of your inner world. If you want to make a permanent change, stop focusing on the size of your problems and start focusing on the size of you. Take a full breath and decide right now, in this very moment, you will be a bigger person and not allow any obstacle or problem to take you out of either your happiness or success. Your wealth can only grow to the extent that you do. The objective is to grow yourself to a place where you can overcome any problems or obstacles that get in the way of your creating wealth and keeping it once you have it. Let's set the record straight. Money is important. To say that it's not as important as any of the other things in life is ludicrous. What's more important, your arm or your leg? Could it be that both are important? Now, I'm sure this isn't the first time you've heard the advice to save 10% of your money for long-term investing, but it may be the first time you've heard that you must have an equal and opposite account specifically designed for you to blow money and play. One of the biggest secrets to managing money is balance. On one side, you want to save as much money as possible so you can invest it and make more money. On the other side, you need to put another 10% of your income into a play account. Why? Because we are holistic in nature. You cannot affect one part of your life without affecting the others. Some people save, and while their logical and responsible self is fulfilled, their inner spirit is not. I advise that you create 5 accounts and divide your money for different purposes. In addition to the play account, the other accounts include 10% in your long-term savings for spending account, 10% into your education account, 50% into your necessities account, and 10% into your give account. It comes down to this. Either you control money or it will control you. The idea is to have your money work as hard for you as you do for it. And that means you have to save and invest rather than make it your mission in life to spend it all. It's almost funny. Rich people have a lot of money and spend a little, while poor people have a little money and spend a lot. Rich people buy assets, things that will likely go up in value. Poor people buy expenses, things that will definitely go down in value. Rich people collect land. Poor people collect bills. I've had thousands of problems in my life, most of which never actually happened. One of the most important things you can ever understand is that you are not your mind. You are much bigger and greater than your mind alone. That's why training and managing your own mind is the most important skill you could ever own in terms of both happiness and success. You can choose your thoughts. You have the natural ability to cancel any thought that is not supporting you at any time. You can also install self-empowering thoughts at any time, simply by choosing to focus on them. You have the power to control your mind.